Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another video of DIY investing. When the market is as volatile as it is right now, it's very important that we're keeping a level head and not allowing our emotional state to affect how our trading decisions are played out. When the market is extremely volatile, oftentimes it can lead us to making irrational decisions, choices, and mistakes that are going to negatively impact our portfolios. Today we're going to be diving in and taking a look at some Bitcoin and Ethereum analysis because both of these are going to tell the clearest picture of what the long-term trend for the rest of the altcoins is. The two cryptos that have the most money are going to have the most data that we can go off of, and that's why we're going to be diving into some awesome Ethereum and Bitcoin analysis so we all know what to expect moving forward. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Have we broken all of our bullish market structure and are heading to new lows? All of these things are going to be covered today. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the end of the video so you don't miss out on any of this awesome information I'm about to share with you. My goal for this video is 1,000 likes, so make sure you guys smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new updates like the one provided for you here. With all of this volatility, I'm sure that there's a number of you guys getting chopped up inside of the market. I highly recommend that you guys check out my Discord server. The Discord server is free itself, but I also offer some more exclusive content inside of the server. I offer a video course and signals. The video course is 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of cryptocurrency. So if you guys are getting chopped up in the market and you're trying to figure out how to actually profit doing so, I highly recommend that you guys check that out. Now the signals are a way for you guys to actually copy my portfolio and all of the trades that I'm taking over this next cycle. I also post exit points and where I'm going to be taking profit and scaling out and copy my portfolio moving forward. I highly recommend that you guys join the Discord server, click that invitation link in the description, and there you're going to get access to my Discord. Once you have access, shoot me a message in here and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for the support. We've got a lot of really cool things to talk about today, so let's jump right into this video. We're going to start this off by taking a look at the short time frame of Bitcoin because I feel like a lot of people are really scared by what's taking place. I know that Bitcoin has actually corrected a lot more than most people were expecting. And so it's really important that we talk about kind of what's taking place because I know that I wasn't necessarily expecting Bitcoin to go this low, but the thing about the markets is you can't really expect anything. As long as you have expectations, you're just going to end up hurting yourself. And so that's something really important. Even though we've gone lower than what I originally said, everybody's wrong and it's never going to be 100% exact. I'm never going to know exactly what's happening with the market, but what I can share with you guys is the overall structure and how it's continued to maintain a bullish structure. Now, I told you guys that I was going to accumulate the bulk of my bids at 8,300, which was right here. I started averaging into my positions there. I did like what my overall plan was. Even though we're going a little bit lower, that's just part of the way crypto works. I've pretty much exhausted all of my cash resources from buying the dip, and so with what I had to spare, I bought. Even if it's not the exact bottom, I don't care because this is just part of the way that you average into these positions. And so I'm not really too worried what's taking place. Now, what happened though is we actually fell through support of the 618 level. We rejected, and we're now selling off once again. Now, really, to me, I think that this next realistic support level is going to be around the 786 region, and that'll take us to about 7,300. Now, realistically, I'm watching 74 to 72. I think that that's going to be a really strong area of support, and that will also take us back down to this potential reversal pattern that is setting up. Now, for you guys that don't know, this is forming inside of Bitcoin. You probably do know because I've seen a lot of people drawing it. But basically, we have the potential for an inverse head and shoulder formation, right? This inverse head and shoulder has a perfect neckline resistance. We have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and now we're coming back onto support of this previous left shoulder. And so we need to see us hold support here. Maybe we kind of consolidate sideways for a little bit before breaking back up. But that's kind of what I'm expecting to see. Now, the only way that we confirm the trend reversal is if we break out of the neckline resistance at 10,500. But that's what I would like to expect to see. I'd like to see us start impulsing pretty quick and then just kind of continue on in that cycle. So this is what I'm watching out for Bitcoin on a shorter time frame. Even because we've sold off a little further than I was expecting, the market structure has still yet to break and go bearish. Until we retrace 100% of wave one, then it's going to be a bullish market structure, and that's going to be the way that I'm going to be playing the market. And so don't get shaken out by what's taking place. Realistically, this is an excellent buying opportunity. And something I told you guys in the last update as well was the fact that we have already broken from all of this major descending resistance, right? We broke outside of that. This is just a bullish retest of previous support or previous resistance as support, and then in my opinion we're going to see further continuation to come. Now, taking a look at the long time frame, I already talked about this chart in the last video, so we're not going to get into a ton of detail with it, but this is really the most important thing that I wanted to share with you. Now, this trend line, in my last video, I only had it drawn from right here, but this same trend line takes us all the way back to the previous cycle. And this was really the first trend line that Bitcoin started after the last bear cycle. And then we really accumulated here on this trend line for over a year's time. And so by taking a look at this, we're going to see that this trend line is still holding true. And in fact, every time we bounce off of this black trend line, it shows you a perfect buying opportunity. And it would have been a great buying opportunity if you would have actually bought that dip. And we can see inside of this most recent cycle, we've bounced off of this about 2 or 3 different times here. We bounced off of it a couple times right here. And we are now going back into contact with that same support. And that's why I think that right now is a very important time that we're watching for buying opportunities rather than looking to sell. Because right now, guys, we're falling back onto support of a proven trend line. Do you really want to be the person that sells the trend line, or do you want to be buying the trend line? The trend is your friend, right? Now, by taking a look at this, we're going to see that inside of Bitcoin, we're contracting in this triangle pattern. Now, this triangle pattern has been correcting since basically the start of the bear market, right? Now, what is interesting to me and what I like to compare this to is a spring. Now, basically what that means is imagine you have this little metal spring in your hand. And if you take your fingers and you pinch that spring down, you can start to feel the pressure build and the tension starts to build as those springs are moved closer together. Now, eventually what happens is if the spring is actually too strong and you're pushing, eventually you don't have enough momentum to actually keep pushing it lower and the spring expands and explodes, right? Now, I'm using this analogy because Bitcoin's doing the exact same thing. We can see that as we contract tighter and tighter and tighter into this triangle, it's like taking a spring with your fingers and squishing it together. The momentum is getting stronger and stronger until finally we're going to see a massive breakout and we're going to see Bitcoin shoot into price discovery. Now, the thing is, guys, the fact that we're seeing this contracting triangle makes me feel like if you're somebody that's not buying right now while the market's correcting and while it's slow, when we do break out of this, it's going to happen so fast that it's going to leave people behind. And I cannot stress that enough. And I think that that's really going to be the difference of this cycle compared to the last, is the fact that when this thing breaks out, I think it's going to happen very quickly. I don't think that we're going to see the same sideways trending that we saw, because I think that that's basically what we're seeing right now. And the only real difference is instead of maintaining a trend line, we're contracting in a triangle before we break out. Now, looking at this graph, you see this blue line right here. This blue line is very, very, very important because this blue line represents approximately where the next Bitcoin halving will take place. Obviously, we all know what the Bitcoin halving is, and if you don't, just go Google that because I've talked about it a million different times. But the Bitcoin halving is going to be that big catalyst for price discovery. How crazy is it that this halving takes place exactly at the apex of this triangle? Guys, smart money knows what is taking place right now. Smart money is actively accumulating this dip. And because we're so close to the apex of this triangle, we should expect to see a lot of volatility very soon. Now is not the time to be fearful. Now is the time to be greedy. Be greedy when everybody else is fearful. What do you see everywhere in the world right now? Now, I'm not saying to go buy stocks. I'm saying that me personally, I'm heavily invested into Bitcoin, and I only see more reasons to be bullish right here. We're coming up so close to this halving that I think that now is providing the best setup and the clearest setup to actually be profiting right now. And so that's what I'm watching out for with Bitcoin. Now, let's actually dive into some Ethereum analysis because Ethereum is following my trading plan, but it has differentiated itself just a small amount, and we're starting to sell off a little bit more. Now, basically, inside of Ethereum, what I told you guys in my last update was that I was going to be buying from 220, so right here, and then I was going to be buying down to 195. Now, the only thing that happened is the fact that we've actually sold below my entries box, and that kind of sucks because I'm not able to actually deploy a lot more cash. But guys, you got to understand that when you're averaging into a dip, you're never going to know when the exact bottom is, and there's been too many times where I've sat out of a trade and didn't even take it, only to see it, rally 100% shortly after, just because of the fact I had these really, really low targets, and I only waited to buy the dip until they hit those low targets. Now, for me, I've made that mistake a lot of different times in times past, and I'm not doing that again. I do believe that we've already started the bull market, and that these impulses that we're seeing here are, well, what I should say, these corrections that we're seeing here are just short term before we continue on in this bullish trend. And so for me, if I'm experiencing some short-term losses when I'm accumulating the dip, I don't allow that to affect my trading plan, because it's just that part of my trading plan that is going to happen regardless. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to average into a dip too early. I'm going to have to hold some short-term losses, but that's just part of my trading plan, and I don't allow it to affect me like I used to. And so if you're sitting here, you've been averaging into the dip, and it's only still dipping from here, don't get discouraged, guys. I mean, with my XRP positions, I've continued to average into this dip since 30 cents, and so my average entry for XRP is at 23 cents. So I'm currently sitting at a loss for my average entry inside of XRP. So it's just something that happens. I am not willing to be shaken out by this. I am not worried about it, because I think that this is all just part of the game that you have to be willing to accept. Now, what we're seeing here currently, if we drop to a shorter time frame, I'm going to show you guys what I'm expecting moving forward. Now, basically what I see playing out is an ABC correction, and we're just working on the 5 impulse waves of the C leg, because every C wave has, well, what I should say, every ABC has 5 impulse waves. And so I think that we've got the 1, we've got the 3, and we just need the final 5-wave impulse. That 5-wave impulse could take us a little bit lower here still. There is always downside risk, so we got to pay attention for that. For me, I'm watching for 160 as the lowest downside target. I don't foresee us going lower than that, and if we started to break below that, then to me, we're about to start breaking bullish market structure. If we break below 160, then that's going to be very scary for Ethereum, but I don't foresee that happening, because really, guys, what we're seeing here is a support and resistance flip, and that's what we saw. We had this low, we had the cycle high, we came back down to retest these lows. We still had this resistance after we found support here, and so this breakout was us breaking out of this resistance and then falling back onto that same resistance as support. And the cool thing is, guys, we went all the way up to that 618 mark before doing so. This to me is very bullish market structure, and we shouldn't be shaken out. Even my last Ethereum update followed this almost identically. The only difference was I said watch for 195, and we're now at 185 and going lower. And so I got a little bit carried ahead. I got a little bit carried away and started buying the dip a little bit too early. It's just part of the game. I accept that I take losses and I make mistakes. It's just part of the rules. But guys, really, nothing has changed. We're still maintaining the same bullish market structure. And so I think that we should be aware that shortly after this correction, wherever we do decide to bottom, whether it's here, whether it's a little bit lower, wherever we bottom, I expect that dip to get bought up pretty quickly. And then that should start us into our next impulse waves, up to about 465 or about 475 approximately, about right there. That's where I'm going to be watching for the next impulse to take us. After that, we could expect to see a little bit of a sell-off. But guys, the new bull trend has started, and I can't stress that enough. Now is not the time where you want to be shaken out. Now is not the time where you want to be selling your bags. Now is where you want to be holding, if anything, right? And so we're going to dive into a couple more charts before we wrap up this video. We're going to take a look at Ethereum on the Bitcoin pair, and we're going to be taking a look at Ethereum dominance. Now, the Ethereum Bitcoin pair, the reason I want to talk about this one is actually because of a fractal that's taking place. Now, this fractal, I've been watching it for quite some time, and I actually believe that the bottom is inside of Ethereum, and I'm going to show it to you guys why, and I'll try and prove my point here. Now, the way that the cycles work inside of Ethereum, you have the first 3 set of impulse waves, 1, 3, 5, and then you have the top of the cycle, right? Now what happens is you make a short-term sell-off, we find some short-term support down in here, only to make another relief rally, and then top out a little bit premature of that previous cycle high. So basically a double top, and then we start an ABC correction back down. A, B, C, right? And that completes our correction, and then we go into the new cycle, whereas that leads us to price discovery. And so let's actually dive in here and let's compare the fractal once again, and I'll show you guys how exact it almost is. 1, 3, and 5. Just the same here. We have our first sell-off. This is the top of the cycle. We sell off, find some short-term support down in here, and then we make a relief rally to retest the previous highs. Same thing as here. That one red. And then we start the inevitable impulse down. And this is the same thing here. The only real difference here is the fact that this one made the A, B, C correction, whereas this one's just 5 impulse waves down. But it's still an A, B, C. It just happened at a different point. This one goes A, B, C, whereas this one goes A, B, C on the other side. So this one had the A, B, C on the other side. And so, but guys, really, this is the same bullish market structure. There's really no difference. And what we're seeing here is the end of the correction. And this is our first impulse. And if I drop it to a shorter time frame, let's take it off the log scale, and let's see what I mean here. This, to me, looks like our first set of impulse waves taking place. And it reminds me a lot of what we saw down in here. Just the first leg up before we, go into this next major parabolic cycle. And that's why I think it's very important that we're watching what's taking place in Ethereum right now, and we're not getting shaken out, because right now is proving to be a very valuable time for accumulation. And I believe that with the volume that we're seeing coming in here, the fact that we are starting to make higher highs, I think that the bottom is in. Now, let's actually go and compare it to our final chart right here. This chart shows the Ethereum dominance. Basically what that means is it shows how much of the total market cap is owned by Ethereum. So in this case, it's 9.43%. Now, I wanted to show with you guys this because we had this major descending resistance. This was our downtrend, the entire bear cycle. For 2 years, we downtrended. From cycle high to the exact cycle low was 2 years, and I'll show you guys that. From the cycle high to the cycle low was over 2 years. It was like 2.5 years that we were consolidating in here. Now, what happened, guys, was we broke outside of that downtrend. What that means is that this downtrend of Ethereum losing dominance is now going to start going up again. And we're going to see Ethereum starting to take more charge in market cap. We're going to see its total market share to continue to rise. And so, guys, Ethereum had a 33% market dominance at the top. I expect that that number is going to continue to grow, and we could see Ethereum at a 50%, even a 60% dominance. I don't know how it's going to work, but what we do know right now is that Ethereum has broken from its downtrend with bullish volume profiles. Remember, guys, downtrend in price followed by a declining volume is a bullish volume profile because it shows continuation of that bullish trend. We can see that as the markets were going up, we had breakouts in volume, higher highs in price, higher highs in volume, and then lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows, lower highs in volume as well. And so this is very important, guys. The whole downtrend throughout the market has really started to break out. A lot of altcoins are starting to break out. With us coming so close to the end of this apex in the triangle inside of Bitcoin, that apex also coexists perfectly with the halving. I really just don't see all of the reasons to be scared. Now, who knows, guys? Maybe we see a bigger recession in the stock market. I'm not writing that possibility off by any means. In fact, I think that we very easily could. I made a video about a month or two ago talking about why I expected the stock market to top out soon. The fact that we're starting to see that happen really was just kind of following with what I thought all along. And so, guys, I have always been a firm believer that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are going to be the things that really start to take charge in this next cycle. We're going to see them outperform the rest of the normal conventional markets. And really now is the defining point in which we're going to do so. And so, guys, I want you to understand that Bitcoin could completely crash and fall. We could fall to new lows. This could be the end of the bullish cycle forever. But the reason I am confident in my analysis is because I don't think that that's the case. The reason I think that Bitcoin holds so much long-term value, and with us moving into this technological age, I think that I trust the trend enough. I'm willing to buy when everybody's fearful. If the market tops, Bitcoin crashes, I'm willing to lose everything because I do believe in the technology behind this. And so I'm going to continue to average into these positions. I've pretty much tapped out all cash reserves, so now it's waiting for Bitcoin and crypto to actually go up. But I wanted to make this video so that we're all on the same page together. Realistically, nothing has changed. We're still in bullish market structure. We have a massive inverse head and shoulder playing out inside of Bitcoin. We've also broken from the short-term downtrend with a bullish retest on the logarithmic channel. Now Ethereum, we're just finishing our correction here. Wherever that bottom is, I expect us to start seeing an immediate impulse coming shortly after. We also have this fractal that's playing out inside of Ethereum. Both market cycles look almost the exact same, which if it continues to follow, basically what that means is we've already started this next impulse, and we should expect to see Ethereum and all of these cryptos continue to go up from here. The fact that Ethereum is broken from its downtrend shows that this literal downtrend of Ethereum is over, and we're only going to see continuation inside of Ethereum's trend. We're going to see dominance rising in Ethereum, and we're going to see it continue to outperform and lead the rest of the market. So make sure you guys are aware of that. And remember, if you found any value in this video, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. My goal is 1,000 likes for this video, so make sure you guys smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on any new videos that I post like the one provided for you here. I also offer the video course in Signal, so if you guys want access to that, make sure you guys click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. Once you have access, shoot me a message, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ignore the emotions, ignore all of the fear, ignore the uncertainty, and stick to your trading plan. Zoom the hell out of the charts, and you'll start to finally understand what's all taking place. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.